Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are looking into a major turning point for Belarus, a nation caught in a sudden wave of change that is shaking its political foundation. The situation is moving fast, and the world is watching closely as internal pressure grows stronger than ever. For decades, Belarus was seen as a rigid system under tight control, but now that system is cracking in full public view. Protests everywhere have risen to a level unheard of in the country's history, and the most shocking development of all is that the police, who once stood as the sharp edge of government power, are now seen walking side by side with protesters. This moment represents something deeper than a simple protest wave. It reveals a government losing control from the inside out. Belarus always tried to project a strong exterior image built on the belief that power was unshakable. The government relied heavily on force, intimidation, and loyalty from its security institutions. Large government buildings, checkpoints, and protest barricades once symbolized strict authority. But as demonstrations continue to grow, the exterior confidence of the state no longer matches what is happening on the ground. Every day brings new images of citizens outnumbering riot squads, police officers laying down their shields, and soldiers refusing orders. The structure that seemed solid is now showing every crack under the weight of the people's anger, frustration, and desire for change. Inside Belarus, a transformation is unfolding. Institutions that once seemed loyal now look divided. Offices are filled with anxiety, citizens are refusing to stay silent, and leaders are struggling to maintain command. In the interior of the country, where everyday life reflects the true feelings of the population, the shift is undeniable. Workers are striking, large companies are halting their operations, public transport pauses during rallies, and families speak openly about political change without fear for the first time in years. People who lived under silence and pressure are now expressing hope that they could finally decide their own future. This interior change is powerful because revolutions don't start on official stages. They start in the hearts and minds of ordinary people. When we talk about performance, the current government has failed to deliver what the citizens need. One of the biggest responsibilities of any leadership is to ensure economic stability and provide a safe and fair environment for citizens to grow. Instead, Belarus finds itself blocked by decades of declining economic performance, rising unemployment, sanctions from abroad, and slow responses to global challenges. Young people feel their opportunities disappearing, professionals leave the country looking for better futures, and families struggle with inflation and poor wages. The leadership's performance is not just disappointing, it is collapsing under the reality that the system no longer works. When a government can't provide economic hope or trust in institutions, the public's patience eventually runs out. Safety has always been used as an excuse by the authorities to keep strict control over Belarusians. For years, the leadership claimed that tough security measures protected peace, but that idea has flipped. When police start joining the people, the government's last shield is gone. The traditional safety features of the state military protection, police enforcement, surveillance are no longer functioning smoothly. Officers are refusing commands that go against moral conscience. Video after video shows security personnel lowering their weapons and embracing protesters. The fear barrier that once protected the government has disappeared, and that is one of the most dangerous moments for any regime. Safety is now maintained by the unity of citizens instead of state control. Communities protect each other in marches, protesters treat injured victims, and medics volunteer on the streets because official rescue forces either withdraw or turn their backs. The breakdown of the safety system signals that the government can no longer guarantee protection, not even for itself. What makes this moment truly unique is the courage displayed by ordinary Belarusians. Protests are not just about opposing leadership. They are about reclaiming dignity. The people are standing in front of heavily armed forces, waving flags, singing national songs, and refusing to step back. Police officers who once enforced silence are now raising the protest flag instead of the baton. This unity between the public and former enforcers becomes a powerful symbol. The unique selling point of this uprising is that it shows the entire world that fear, no matter how strong, can collapse instantly when people believe in freedom. Belarus is proving that authoritarian systems look powerful only until citizens decide they are not anymore. This moment inspires neighboring countries and demonstrates that change can come swiftly when the balance of courage shifts. But every change has a price. Belarus is not walking into a peaceful transformation without cost. There is uncertainty in who will govern next, confusion in the streets, and fear of intervention from external forces. Russia, historically connected to Belarus's political and security systems, watches closely and may attempt to influence the next direction. Countries in Europe see a chance for Belarus to move toward democratic values, but worry conflict could escalate. This price is also paid by families facing chaos, businesses struggling to function, and political tensions running high across neighborhoods. Transition always brings instability, and the coming weeks may test the strength of the people's unity. But many citizens believe the price of living without freedom is far greater than the price of fighting for change. The country stands at the most important crossroads in its modern history. Old guards in government still attempt to show confidence, delivering speeches and warnings that no longer convince the population. State media continues to broadcast loyalty messages, yet most viewers have already turned away. The reality on the streets tells the truth louder than any propaganda. The leadership is hanging on by a thread. If the government cannot restore control soon, it may disappear completely, replaced by a new order that rises from the will of the people. Throughout Belarus, neighborhoods resemble community gatherings more than protest zones. People share food, bring water for exhausted marchers, repair flags, and support those who get arrested or injured. Hope spreads faster than fear used to. Activists who were once hunted are now openly organizing rallies on a massive scale, and their voices reach far beyond Belarus's borders through social media and international coverage. The world is not just observing Belarus. The world is amplifying Belarus's call for freedom. This global attention adds more pressure on authorities who can no longer hide behind silence. Inside the leadership, nerves are running high. There are whispers of betrayals, arguments behind closed doors, and officials planning their exits. Those who once stood confidently beside the president now quietly look for a safe escape, knowing the end could be near. A government cannot survive when its own power structure begins to run away. This is the force of a collapsing system. It first looks strong, then suddenly collapses in a moment no one expected. Across the nation, young people play the biggest role in the wave for change. They have grown in a world full of information, connection, and new opportunities. They don't want to live in a locked system controlled by fear. They dream of open borders, digital freedom, business growth, and political voices that matter. They refuse to accept that their future must be built around the past. The energy from youth movements keeps the protests alive every single day, and their determination signals that Belarus will not return to silence. Older generations, who once worried about speaking out, now walk proudly beside the youth. They want their children and grandchildren to have the freedom they were denied. They join marches, hold banners, and tell stories of sacrifices they made under strict rule. This is not just a youth movement or a single political struggle. It is a nation coming together to rewrite its future. People want a leader who listens, who respects citizens instead of controlling them. They want a government built on accountability, fairness, and open dialogue. Whether this transition happens peacefully or faces resistance will determine the shape of Belarus for decades. But the people have already decided one thing: the old way is gone. There is no turning back. Every chant in the street sends the same message, every flag raised signals the same desire, and every peaceful protest demands the same truth. Belarus belongs to its people. The question now is simple: who will be in charge tomorrow? Will it be emerging leaders born from the protests, or will power temporarily fall into unfamiliar hands? Can Belarus form a new political system quickly enough to avoid chaos? These questions remain unanswered, but one thing is undeniable: the people are no longer waiting for permission to choose. They are already choosing. Belarus is collapsing fast, but what grows from the collapse could be a stronger, freer nation where the voice of every citizen matters. A new Belarus is being built not in official meetings, but in the courage of everyday people. The world will remember this moment as the day fear ended and bravery rose. Thank you for watching and staying informed about these crucial events. The future of Belarus is being written right now, and the next days will be extremely important. Stay with us as we continue to follow this historic transformation.